Hello everybody, it's Friday and it's time for Tick or Fix Mix 2. You'll see that I've got the balloons out, I've got the bunting on in the background because it is Friday. It's a good reason to celebrate, and it's a good reason to celebrate all the hard work you've been doing at home. So well done, I'm really proud of everybody. I'm going to put the questions up on the screen now so you can have a go at the questions for today. You'll see there are 7 questions, and actually there are 7 problems that we've seen with these Tick or Fix videos, and so I've got a question for each of those. We've done 4 problems this week and we did 3 last week, so 7 in total. So have a go at those. When you're ready, press play and we'll go through those answers and tick or fix. Right, so let's get started. You'll see that I did have to squeeze the 7 questions onto the board, so some of the words and the clocks are a bit small, but I'll try my best to help you see those by zooming in, and hopefully you've had a go and been able to complete the questions. Now let's get started then. Now, as there are 7 questions and they're all very different, it's even more important that you read that question so carefully. Let's have a look at the first one. Question 1. Write the missing numbers. And now let's have a look at what we have. So we've got 13, 16, 19, missing number space, missing number space, missing number space. So we've got to continue this pattern of numbers. And something that can help us is to see if the numbers are, remember those 2 really big words? If they're ascending, so if they're increasing, if they're getting greater, or if they're descending, are the numbers getting smaller? So to see that, we can look at our first number at the start of our pattern, which is 13, and the last number we have in our pattern is 19. 19 is greater than 13, so we can see that the numbers are indeed ascending. So that means that this number is going to be bigger than 19, and this number is going to be greater than this number, and this number is going to be greater than this number. Our next job is to find the difference between the numbers that are next to each other. So let's look at 13 and 16. Now, to find the difference, we usually subtract, so we get 16 and take away 13. However, because those numbers are close to each other, we can just count on from 13 and see how many spaces we count until we get to 16. Just remember to stop at 16 when you're counting. 13 in your head and see how many spaces. 14, 15, 16. 1, 2, 3 spaces. So the difference between these 2 numbers is 3. Let's just double check that that difference continues, because sometimes when you get higher up at school, you might find the difference isn't always the same. So let's see if the difference between 16 and 19 is also 3. 16 in your head, 17, 18, 19, 3. That means this number must be 3 greater than 19. What's 19 add 3? 19 in your head? 22. What's 22 add 3 then? 25. And 25 add 3? 28. There we go, I've completed the missing number pattern. What do I need to do now? That's right, I need to check my answer. 13 add 3 is 16, add 3 is 19, add 3 is 22, add 3 is 25, and add 3 is 28. That looks good to me. Question 2 then. First step, read that question. Quite wordy, that one. I'm just going to underline a couple of things. Pair, because there's a pair here and there's a pair there. Total, and total means everything all together. So this and this will be our total. We've got 60, so that's an important number because each of these cards together need to make 60. Write the numbers to complete the pairs. And complete means that something's not finished and we need to finish it off. Step 2 is to look at what we have. So I've got 40 and then I've got a missing number card there. And remember, we're making the total 60. Now there are 2 ways of doing this. You could put 60 in your head and subtract 40, count back in 4 tens, or you can start at 40 and count forwards and see how many tens it takes to get to 60. I can see that 60 is made up of 6 tens and 40 is made up of 4 tens. So I'm going to start at 40 and count forwards in tens and see how many tens it takes me to get to 60. So 40 in your head, 50, 60, 2 tens, and 2 tens are 20. Let's just check the answer. These two now, if I add them together, should make a total of 60. 40 or 20 then? 40, 50, 60. That's correct. Let's have a look at this one. So I'm making the total 60. I've got 30, I need to get to 60. This time I'm going to try the other way. I'm going to start with 60 in my head and count backwards in tens. So 60 in your head, and we're counting backwards 3 tens. 50, 40, 30. And to check our answer, let's add them together and hopefully we'll get 60. 30 of 30 is 60. 3 add 3 is 6. So 3 tens add 3 tens is 6 tens. And 6 tens is 60. Well done, tick or fix your answer. Question 3 then, let's read that question. Tick the purse that shows the money Bob has left. He has 50p and buys a pencil for 25p. I'm going to underline the word tick because it's important when you do questions like this at school, where you tick if it says tick, you circle if it says circle, you match if it says match. You really need to watch out carefully for the instruction in the question. Tick the purse that shows the money Bob has left. Now, has left usually means you're going to need to do subtraction to find your answer. He has 50p and buys a pencil for 25p. Looking at what we have then, he had 50p and he buys a pencil for 25p. Which calculation do you think I need to do to figure out how much money there should be in Bob's purse? Subtraction. 50 take away 25. Now you can see I don't have much space on here to do a number line, but you could do a number line, or you could get counters and you could count backwards, or you could get actual money. Maybe that will help you. I'm going to do 50, subtract 25 in my head, which you can do too. So we start off with 50 and we're going to take away our 2 tens. So we're going to count backwards in tens from 50. So 50 in your head and count backwards 2 tens. 40, 30. Now I need to subtract the ones. I've got 5 ones. So now I need to count backwards in ones from 30 to subtract this part of the 25. So 30 in your head and take away 5. So 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. 25 pence. Bob has 25 pence in his purse. Now let's have a look at the purses we have here. This one has 10, 5, 10 to 5 is 15, add 5 is 20. This one has 20p. This one has 2 tens, 20, add a 5, 25. This one has 3 10-pence pieces. 3 tens are 30. Finally then, I'm going to check my answer. 50 take away 25, we did that and it was 25, wasn't it? 50 take away 2 tens is 30, take away 5 ones, 25. This one has 20p in, I can see that it's got 10, 5 and 5, which is 20. This one has 25 pence in, 10, 25, it's that one. And that one had 3 tens, 30 pence. That had too much. It's definitely this one. Let's have a go at question 4 then. I'm going to read that question really carefully. It says, match the clocks to the time shown. Match the analog clocks to these digital clocks. This is quite tricky. So I'm going to look at this first clock then. The hour hand, which here is the colour red, is halfway more or less between the 4 and the 5. And the green hand, the longer hand, the minute hand, that's pointing down towards the 6. So what's the time on that clock? So the hour is it's between 4 and 5, and the minute is halfway around the clock. So that tells me that it's half past. It's half past 4. Now remember that in an hour there are 60 minutes. 60 minutes in an hour. So half of an hour, half of 60 is 30. So on a digital clock, half past has 30 minutes. So is it this one, 3:00, 3 o'clock, this one, 4:30, 5:45, or 7:20? It's this one, 4:30. Let's check the answer then. The minute hand has travelled half of the clock, showing me that it's half past the hour. The hour hand is between the 4 and the 5, so it's half past 4. 4:30, there are 60 minutes in an hour, half an hour is 30 minutes. 4:30, 30 past 4, half past 4. Let's look at the next clock. So on this one, the minute hand is pointing towards the 9, and the hour hand is pointing down almost towards the 6. It's not quite at the 6 yet. The minute hand has travelled 3/4 of the clock. Remember that each segment of the clock, so for each number, it's worth 5 minutes. So let's count how many minutes the minute hand has passed. So it's 5, 10, 15, so that's quarter past, 15, 20, 25, 30. 30 is the same as half past, 35, 40, 45. 45 minutes past 5, which is the same as 5:45, because it only needs a quarter to go until it gets to 6. The minute hand only needs to travel 1/4 more of the clock face until it reaches the o'clock position for 6 o'clock. Let's have a look at the digital clocks. Well, this one says 3 o'clock, so that's not right. We've done this one. This one says 5:45, and this one says 7:20. What's the right answer then? I actually can't see the number 6 anywhere then. It's 5:45, isn't it? Oh right, it's this one. It's 5:45, because there's a quarter to go until 6. It's 5:45, and a quarter of 60 minutes is 15 minutes. There's 15 minutes to go until it's 6 o'clock. The minute hand has travelled 3/4 of the clock, and it's travelled 45 minutes. 5:45. Let's look at the next clock then. So the next clock has the hour hand after 7 o'clock, but before 8 o'clock, and the minute hand is pointing towards the number 4. How many minutes have passed then in this hour? What's 4 times 5? Each segment is 5 minutes. 5 times 4 is 20. So 20 minutes have passed. And the red hand is still within the 7th hour. 20 minutes within the 7th hour. It's 20 past 7. Can you spot the 20 past 7 digital clock? (7:20), 20 past 7. So 20 minutes have passed. The hour hand is between the 7 and the 8. It's 20 past 7, 20 past 7. And our last one then. This one, the green hand, which is representing the minute hand on this clock, is in the o'clock position. And the hour hand, which on this clock is facing the number 3, is telling me that it's 3 o'clock. We've only got one left, so it must be this one, but we'll check our answer. 3 o'clock, 3:00. No minutes have passed the third hour. It's exactly 3 o'clock, 0 minutes past 3. And the minute hand is facing upwards. It hasn't started its journey around the clock yet. It's 3 o'clock. So the last 3 questions are from last week, Mix 1. Let's have a go at those. Question 5, read that question really carefully, remember? Find the missing symbol. We've got add, multiply, subtract or divide. 7 something 2 equals 14. I'm looking for the missing symbol. Now, the answer, is that greater or less than 7? 14 is greater than 7, isn't it? Which means that our missing symbol must either be add or multiply. Let's try with add first then. 7 in your head and add 2. 7 in my head, 9. Oh, well that's not our answer. It must be multiply. 7 times 2 is 14. We know our 2 times table. 7 times 2 equals 14. So the missing space should be for the multiplication symbol. 7 times 2 equals 14. That looks right to me. Question 6, read the question carefully. Complete the number sentence. A quarter of something equals 10. So we're looking for our whole. We've got to complete our sentence because there's something missing here. A quarter of something equals 10. I don't have much space to draw, but I'm going to have a go. So I've got quarter, so I need how many equal parts? 4 equal parts. I'm drawing 4 circles here. I've got 4 circles here, so 4 equal parts, so these are all quarters. And each quarter I should have 10. So I'm going to do, because I don't have much space, I'm going to do a 10 stick. So that's 10. That's 10. That's 10. That's 10. So how many have I got altogether? What's our whole? What is the total? I'm going to count in tens. 10, 20, 30, 40. And here we go, the next one. So how many equal parts do I need to draw for this one? So I've got 1/3 of our whole is 2. 1/3 of our whole is 2. So how many equal parts do I need to draw? I drew 4 for this one. So for this one I need to draw 3 equal parts. And I've got a bit more space. 1, 2, 3. And how many counters do I need to draw within each circle? 2, because one of our thirds, these are thirds, one of our thirds is 2. So that's 1/3. That's what 1/3 looks like. To find our whole, we need each third, we need 3/3, don't we? We need the whole thing together. So I'm going to put 2 in each. Because they're equal parts, there needs to be the same amount in each part. Now I just need to add up how many I've got all together. 2, 4, 6. 1/3 of 6 equals 2. And we're on to the last question. Woo! Last question of Friday Tickle Fix. You've done so well. Right, okay, so let's look at question 7 then. Read the question really carefully. Circle 3 numbers. I made a mistake there, so I've just added the S. Circle 3 numbers that total up to 20. I've underlined circle because we're not ticking, we're not matching. We need to circle our answers. 3 numbers, that's really important because you might be able to make the total with 2 numbers, or you might be able to make it with 4. But if the question's asked you to circle 3 numbers, you need to make sure you circle 3 numbers. Circle 3 numbers that total up to 20. So the total is 20. These 3 numbers need to add up to 20 together. They will make 20. Let's have a look at what we've got. So we've got 15, 1, 3, 10 and 2. So I'm going to try by starting with my biggest number first. It might not work. If it doesn't work, I'll go to my next biggest number. but it's important that you've got a system for these types of questions. So I'm going to start with my biggest number, which is 15. If I add the next biggest number, 15 add 10 is 25. That's too far, isn't it? 25 is too far. Let's add the next biggest number after 10 to 15. So, got 1, 3 or 2? 3. So 15 add 3 is 15, 18. So far we're on 18. And now I need to get to 20. I've got 2 options left, 1 or 2. 18 add 1 is 19, so it's not that one. 18 add 2, 18, 19, 20. That sounds right to me. I'm going to circle the numbers. 15 we said, didn't we? We didn't say 10. 3 and 2. Now 15 add 3 equals 18, and 18 add 2 equals 20. How did you do? So far then we've looked at 7 different reasoning problems. Next week we'll look at 4 more. I'm not sure what I'll do on the Friday, how I'll fit them all on, but we'll find a way. Well done, you're doing really well. Have a great weekend. Keep practicing. Bye bye.